On this edition of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast, we continue our Western Canadian Baseball League previews with looks at Lethbridge and Brooks. Welcome to episode 32 of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast. I'm Joe McFarland. We are just a couple of weeks away now from the start of the Western Canadian Baseball League season, and we know a lot of people are chomping at the bit to head to their local stadiums to take in some of the action. Not just the fans either. The players and coaches are getting excited to get back on the field, and it's evident in the conversations we're about to have. We're going to start this week off with the Lethbridge Bulls. Head coach Jesse Sawyer is hoping to turn things around after a rocky 19-29 campaign in 2018, which ended with being booted from the playoffs in 4 games to the eventual champion Medicine Hat Mavericks. Sawyer has seen the WCBL game from every level, from a player now to a coach of the last 3 seasons, and he's hoping this is the Bulls' time to break out. And with some returning players like Nick Ankerman, Dylan Borman, and Caleb Warden, they might just be able to do it. Jesse, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Looking ahead to 2019 already, just a short time away now. Talk a little bit about your expectations and what you're hoping to see accomplished heading into this summer.
We're getting really close here. It's the opening day is sneaking up on us, and we're just getting everything ready on our end. And I'm really excited with the team. I'm really excited with the guys that we have coming in, and I expect a good season. We didn't have the season that we wanted last year, and I spent the staff here. We spent a long time and a hard year recruiting and making sure that we can put a really competitive team out there and go out there and have a great season this year.
There are some familiar faces that you're bringing back into the fold. There's also some new faces, and some of them that you've already announced have had some pretty good success stateside. Is that a bit of a precursor to what you're hoping comes up this summer?
Yeah, we got a good group. We've got some returners, some guys that have had some, they've played a couple seasons here, and we've had some guys, and I follow along down south and see how they're doing. And yeah, we've had some guys that have had some great seasons, and guys that are still playing, and they're in their post seasons right now with some of their schools, and so they're still grinding hard. But yeah, I'm really excited, and yeah, we've had some great spring seasons, but it doesn't mean a whole lot heading into the summer. It's a brand new season. Everybody resets to zero. So whether you've had a great season or not so great a season, once you start the summer, everybody starts at the same. So that's exciting.
Who excites you as you look up and down your roster, and who do you think fans are going to be really happy to see?
I'm really excited this year about, the middle of our order. I really think is going to be able to do some damage. I've got Caleb Warden coming back, who was a big power lefty bat in the middle of my lineup last year. We've signed Riley Jepson out of the Fraser Valley, who had an amazing CCBC season. He's another big left-handed power bat that I'm excited about. We got Dylan Borman coming back, who is a right-handed power bat who's been with us for 3 years now, and he's going to be steady there. And then I have I got a couple others, like I have Parker Schmeckel, who's at Nebraska Omaha, who's in first place in the Summit League, where I went to school at South Dakota State, so I follow that one a lot, and he's leading their team in hitting right now. And so I'm really excited about our lineup, and not to take anything away from our pitching staff. I'm really excited about some of the arms we're bringing in this year, but I'm very excited.
Talk a little bit about the ratio, I guess, of returning players versus new players and wanting to create a little bit of continuity in guys who are familiar with the program because, as you mentioned, you want to be able to hit the ground running and be able to compete for a championship this time around.
Yeah, it's a very difficult thing, right? We have such a short season. These guys, you're bringing them from all across North America, different walks of life. Like they're different, they're just, we're so different in different ways. So we got to find a way, to become a team in basically 2.5 months and come together and mesh a bunch of personalities. So that it is difficult, but yeah, we try to, make sure that you've got some familiar guys that you've played with or played against before. We're going to hit the ground running there, and hopefully we can have that team chemistry, and we can have a great group of guys who enjoy being around each other and enjoy coming to the yard every day, and that's what makes the summer so much fun, is when you do have a group like that.
We've talked a little bit with different coaches and different programs so far during the podcast leading up to the WCBL season that word of mouth has become such a big recruiting tool for a lot of you guys. Is that something that you've relied on as well when you look at some of the guys who are going to be returning and maybe leaned on them and said, hey, if you see somebody that you either play against or play with, make sure to send them our way?
Oh, absolutely. And, it's not feasible to go down there, and actually recruit with, in person by myself. So we have to use word of mouth, and we use video. And, when I tell all my guys at the end of the year, like, if you see some guys, like, I want to recruit, like, I want your best guys, and, keep an eye out and send me contact information. And I'm always looking at different leads and trying to find different players that might help here. This guy might be able to steal some bags for us or whatever. So we're always looking at ways to try to improve the team, and word of mouth is probably our biggest recruiting tool.
You've seen this league in a bunch of different forms, whether it be a coach or a player. What leads to a successful team? What is that one key ingredient that you keep seeing that goes, that's what sets them apart from the rest?
It's in this league, like I said a little bit earlier there, you got to be able to come together as a team and, enjoy being there. And I think in this league, especially over my time, it's the teams that can find that really that top end quality starting pitching are the ones that really, they night in, night out give their teams the best chance to win, because, this league is full of a ton of great hitters. There's always good arms. It's just those teams that can find those 3, 4, 5, top end starters that really, really succeed. So I think as far as I'm concerned, those teams that can find that great starting pitching, that's the key in this league.
Talk a little bit about your own starting pitching then, and what are you expecting out of that crew? I know you have, again, a healthy mix of guys who have seen Spitz Stadium before, and you've got some guys who are going to be brand new to it as well.
Yeah, I've got a big list of pitchers. I've got I think I had 17. I was looking at it this morning, and with a couple more that I'm still talking to here. And I think that's number one, is having a big staff. And, at times it can be, it can be tough to get guys in, but there's also times where you get a couple of injuries and other guys have to step up. So we know, especially with 8 more games this year, you're going to need a ton of pitching. So I started off by, making sure I have a very big pitching staff down there. And my starters, I'm very excited about. I have Jaden Griffin coming back this year, hopefully for a whole season. He had to leave at the end of June last year to go down for his freshman season, and so I'm excited about him. I have Adam Macko, who's going to pitch for us out of the Vauxhall Academy there, who's been outstanding. I think he's going to start with us at least for some of June, and then I have Logan Bexton, who's out of State Fair Community College. I've slotted him in to start. He started all year there for them. And I have a couple CSI alumni and a current CSI pitcher who I'm excited. That's kind of what I'm planning out. But, like I said, it's real difficult to put everything down on paper. You kind of got to get the ball in the air and then see where guys fit and see kind of what roles that they map out for themselves by their performance. So.
How nice has it been from your standpoint to have a little bit of continuity? I mean, this is year 3 now that you've been the head coach of the program, and so you've had an opportunity to kind of test the waters, I guess, in a sense, that first year, second year, figure some things out, and hopefully this third year becomes sort of everything comes together, I assume.
Yeah, as far as, I did two years as an assistant coach there, and then this is my third year as a head coach, and so I've seen a lot on the coaching side, and, you mentioned it earlier, I played in the league too. So I got a lot of experience in the league, and I know that, it takes, you got to be able to, all 3 aspects of the game. You got to be able to pitch it, field it, and hit. And, we got to be able to do all those things on a night in and night out basis. And, I'm just excited. There's a lot of luck involved in this league too. It's, any team, I believe, can win on any night, and that's what makes this Western Division is so tough, night in and night out. Every night you're going in and you're going to play a tough baseball game, and our guys know that. And a play here, a play there can change the difference in all those games. And or an injury here. We had a couple bad injuries last year. Brett Mercier went down for us. He was hitting 370. It was. He came in sliding for a ball and broke his wrist. And, that's just how things go sometimes. So, we got to get off to a good start and, hopefully we can keep it rolling and have a really good season here.
One of the things that I've also seen as I roll through the rosters, there's a little bit of homegrown talent in there as well. You've got Ty Penner from Lethbridge, Nick Ankerman from Lethbridge. You've got Dylan Borman, a Camrose boy. I mean, there's a little bit of local flavor to this team as well, and I think that seems to be a hallmark of the Bulls, is that being able to bring in some of that talent that has probably grown up watching some Bulls baseball in their previous lives and as children.
Absolutely. We really like to, have some of those homegrown players on the team, and it's nice when they can be impact guys. You don't want to, just put them on there just to be on there. We want guys that are going to go out there and perform. And, it is nice. We have the Prairie Baseball Academy, which I also coach. I also coach with the Prairie Baseball Academy. So we have a recruiting tool right there in Lethbridge. We can always, look to take the top guys off PBA every year, and they're not always from Lethbridge, but we come around. But they're kind of Lethbridge residents too. So we have lots of people from around the Lethbridge area, which it helps us having the Prairie Baseball Academy right here.
Talk a little bit about your identity that you'd like this team to envelop heading into the year. I know a lot of, especially when you have that short season, it's tough to kind of get everybody to buy in, but at the same time, that gives you a bit of a basis for the players that you're bringing in. What kinds of teams should fans be expecting heading into this year? This year we've talked to the coaching staff a lot. I really pride myself. We just got to play the game the right way. We got to play hard and, do the little things right. And at times last year we got away from that, and it hurt us. And I really think this year, me as the head, I have to put more of an emphasis. We're going to play the game the right way. We're going to play hard. We're going to run the bases hard. We're going to do the little things right. And, I hope there's some excitement in there. We got some power in the middle of that lineup. I hope we can show that off a little bit and excite the home crowd. But yeah, we're going to play the game hard. We're going to try to do those little things right, and hopefully that relates to wins. And I know you guys also went through the renovations over at Spitz in the last couple of years as well. Everything's kind of done and ready to rock and roll. How important has that been to creating more of a family-friendly but also a player-friendly atmosphere at the ballpark? I've been there this morning, and it's just about everything is finally fully completed. Last year, most of it was done, but they put a whole new concession in down the left field line now. All new fencing and landscaping, just the little things that weren't quite finished last year are finished now. It's going to be just a beautiful place to watch a ball game this summer. I'm excited for the fans of Lethbridge. It's going to be great. One of my favorite things, and last year it was, some of these kids, they come in and they don't know what to expect, right? Whether they've looked online or they check pictures out or not, they come in there and you walk in there now, and it's a pretty special place to walk in there now. It's like you get treated like, it's as high a level of baseball as you can basically play in Alberta. And, you walk into that stadium when they show up in Lethbridge that first day, and they're excited. And that excites me too, because, I played in that stadium. I remember, 6:55 getting ready for the game, and you got those butterflies. I miss that. And I'm excited for them, and I'm excited for this team. It's really got to be exciting for you to be thinking about that opening day as well. And how important is it going to be for you to send that message that you want the boys to set a tone early on so that, when opening day and you've got that big crowd, they are going, hey, we want to go back.
Yeah, it's a thing that, if you really love this game, it shouldn't take me to get you excited for those games. I'll be right there with them, and I'm going to make sure we're as prepared as we can be for that first game. But if you get out there and you see that crowd, and if you don't get those butterflies, you're not really in the right place. And I really, I still get them as a coach, and I think our guys, talking with our guys, they're excited, and everybody's ready to get this thing going.
Last but certainly not least, what's exciting you the most heading into this summer?
It's a tough question. I love the summer season. I love the WCBL. I've been around the league for, my first year was 2007, so I've been over 10 years. I've been around this league, and night in and night out, I tell these recruits, this is the most competitive league that it's so competitive. There's rivalries, between us and Medhat and Okotoks. We've built those rivalries over the last 15 years, and it's so much fun out there. It's just a great league to play in and night out. The fans are awesome. it's just going to be a great summer, and I'm excited for that.
I think a lot of us are excited for that. Jesse, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast, and best of luck in the summer 2019 WCBL season.
All right, thanks very much.
Let's go east from Lethbridge on Highway 3 and north on Highway 36 to Brooks. The Bombers are heading into their fourth campaign and are hoping to finally make the jump into the playoffs. The club finished in the West Division cellar last year with a 13-35 record. They did get plenty of attention with the power of catcher Riley McDonald, though, who hit 20 home runs in 33 games for the Bombers. Now, the dimensions of Elks Field notwithstanding, the Bombers hope the roster they have ready to hit the field this year will be enough to turn some heads. We get the lowdown now from Vice President and Director of Baseball Operations, Jason Wandler. Jason, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast.
You betcha. Thanks so much for having me.
What excites you the most about heading into the 2019 campaign?
Probably the high number of quality players that we're bringing in this year as opposed to years past. I think that we've had some really good success of former players recruiting for us and just spreading word of mouth about what we're all about in Brooks, and the fact that we have a bunch of guys coming in this year that not only just want to experience Canada, but they actually they have a high interest of bringing a WCBL championship to our community. So that's a real big plus for us right now, is that these guys they're coming in not as a how do you want to say, as a vacation and hanging out in Canada where the drinking age is 18 and they want to come up here and have fun. They want to come up here and win, and that's really important to us.
That's had to have been an interesting side note in all this. You guys are one of the new teams in the league. You guys are still trying to build that reputation as that team to come to. And what has been sort of the good parts and the bad parts, and walk us through some of that transition as you become part of the league and part of something that you're building towards?
Well, the good thing is, there's a pretty strong buzz within our community and in the support that we've had over the last 3 years anyways, even though we haven't been super successful in terms of recording the number of wins that we wanted to each year. It's the constant support that our community gives us, both in showing up for the games as well as sponsorships and volunteers, and people just want to be part of something special. So that's been really good. I mean, even as of late, we've had more and more community businesses jump on board with sponsorships. We've got more billets than we have players. We have a waiting list there, so that's been really positive for us. The fact that we're selling more seats and tickets than we had in years past. So the support's really strong. I mean, that's been great. Probably the bad is our record. Our record hasn't been able to be as good as we want. And, to be honest, we get guys saying, you know what, we want to come and be a part of Brooks. And then, a couple of days later, they sign with Edmonton or they sign with Medicine Hat, which, at that point in time, Edmonton's had a lot of success deep in the playoffs lately. Medicine Hat won it last year. So competition in recruiting has been a struggle, but this year's been better. I mean, we've really locked in some what we feel is high-end players that are going to help us get over the hump and potentially take us not only just into the playoffs, but deep into the playoffs.
We'll get into the roster in just a second, but I wonder, when you're looking at recruiting and looking at potential guys, is there a certain style that you're going after? Is there maybe I'd say this in the most loving way, but somebody maybe with a chip on their shoulder who wants to prove some of the naysayers wrong, or wants to take a team on their back versus maybe some of those other programs that have that longevity or have that reputation around them? Yeah,
we're just looking at guys that want to compete. Maybe guys that maybe didn't get dealt a fair shake at their university, and then they want to go out there, and like you said, they have a chip on their shoulder. They want to come up here and post some good numbers. They want to work hard. Maybe they're looking for advancement and moving on from a junior college to a 4-year program. Those are the guys that we want. We're looking for. guys that also have had proven track records. They put up good numbers throughout the season, but at the same time, they want to stay fresh. They want to continue the success maybe that they've had at school and just kind of roll it into the summer, so that way, when the fall rolls around, they're ready to go again and they're ready to compete for their university. So,
looking ahead to this coming season, who on the roster excites you the most? Maybe some names that people are familiar with, or maybe even some that they're not.
Well, we got Juan Carrion, who's a left-handed pitcher. He's back for year 4, so he's been he's been a fan favorite. Just because he's got a great personality, he goes out, throws the ball hard, competes. And so he went to the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley this past year, and he's actually going to bring up with him 3 other pitchers. It's a really good Division I program that has made some really big strides, set some school records this year, and they're right now looking to make a push in the postseason. So we're really excited about the depth we're going to have in our rotation, as well as on our back end. We've got some guys that have put up some big numbers nationally, both in Division I and NAIA. So we're really looking forward to not only just our pitching staff, but in general, we're really senior dominated. So that's one of the things we wanted to do, is have some guys that are going to come in here that have experience, that are going to set the tone for maybe some of those freshmen or sophomores that are coming in.
Talk a little bit about that recruiting process, and you mentioned it with Carry-On, for example, is that your players are almost your best at being able to bring somebody along for the ride.
Yeah, I mean, we had Josh McIntyre, who was a former Okotoks Dog. He came to us 2 years ago and unfortunately blew his hamstring in the first game of our season, so we lost him. And so Josh and I had talked over last year, and it didn't work out for him last year. He wanted to stay back in California. However, we connected again this year, so he's coming back. And the same thing, he's said, he's got a few guys here and there that are willing to make the jump and come back with him. We also have Damian Rodriguez, which is a senior out of Central Methodist. And again, he's another returner that has thrown us a few names, guys that he's played with and played against. So, yeah, it makes it real easy. I mean, I think we got 3 or 4 guys coming in from Florida that play at just random universities throughout, but they're all good friends. They're community friends that they want to go compete together on the same summer team. So they're bringing guys in that are, again, high-end guys that we feel are going to put up good numbers for us, and we're hoping that the good numbers turn into wins. Those wins turn into more community interest, puts more bums in the seats, sells more tickets, and creates a level of high excitement here in our community.
I know it's always a bit of a challenge going into a summer season. You don't have a lot of time for the team to gel and create its identity. And so is there an identity that you hope, when you look at the roster on paper, that they envelop and that they take to heart?
Well, that's just it. Once we get the guys together, I mean, in the 3 years that we've had, we haven't really had that identity. And so that's something that we're going to push for as soon as the guys roll in. We'll have a team meeting and just kind of lay it on the line as to what we're looking for out of them. And then what we want to do is leave it up to a couple of our guys that have been a little bit more experienced. And I know that those Texas Rio Grande Valley guys, they play the game the right way. And so we want to kind of piggyback some of the things that they've done and, keep not only, a loose atmosphere in terms of, letting them have fun and be aggressive, but also that high level of compete, that dirtbag mentality of let's do whatever it takes to win today, and then we regrouped for tomorrow, and then we get after it again.
Is there a sense at all that maybe being able to have some continuity in the dugout as well with your coaches, with your manager, that kind of thing, will allow to keep you rolling along and keep learning a few things as the seasons roll on?
Yeah, I know that, having Kyle back in the league and his familiarity with the league and the players, as well as our pitching coach, Matt Conley, I think having those two guys back for year two, they both have a strong sense of now what it's going to take to get us over the hump and lead these guys in the right direction so that, from day one, once we have our first team workout, that everybody knows what the expectations are, and they're all going to pull on that rope together and become what we call just one big family. So
one of the things that I always look at when it comes to Brooks is you look at the Bandits and how the community has really bought around on that. Do you look at the Bandits? Do you talk to the Bandits to see what works for them, what doesn't work, and try to create some synergies there maybe?
Yeah, as of right now, I mean, year one, year two, they really didn't really want to divulge a lot because of the fact that they almost felt like there was a little bit of competition. Where we don't feel that. We just want to piggyback off of, some of the things that they've done. We want to create a good partnership, and now going into year four, I think that's what's happened. I mean, we're now working together collaboratively with them in terms of, hey, why don't you come to the game? You guys sponsor a game. We'll sponsor a game. We'll sell tickets. You guys come to one of our games, sell your tickets for your golf raffle fundraisers, and they'll allow us to do the same thing. So, I mean, with what they've got going on in the community right now with the NJAC, hopefully that buzz that's created just kind of rolls right into our season.
From the fan perspective, to take away from this conversation or what they should be expecting heading into the 2019 campaign from a fan experience perspective? Yeah,
I mean, we just want a lot of people to come out to the ballpark and enjoy family fun entertainment in an atmosphere where they're going to watch some quality baseball. They're going to be treated to just a great experience, good overall experience, something that is going to have them coming back to the ballpark night in and night out, so that they can feel free to bring their young kids. We want to cater to the elders in our in our community, and just baseball fans in general. We want to create baseball fans out of people that maybe just come for one or two games, and we want to hook them and bring them back so that they're buying a flex pass, and maybe they're coming to half of our home games, if not the majority of them. So that's kind of what we want to do, is get people interested in what we're all about, and get them to spread the word and bring more people back to the ballpark to enjoy the experience.
Is that one of the fun parts of this venture now that you guys are into year four now, is you create a little bit of your own identity that way, and all of a sudden the fans have something to attach themselves to and buy into. They know that they're not going to, a lot like junior hockey that way, you're not going to be able to latch yourself onto a player for a decade or more, but at the very least you know what they're going to be getting out of their team day in, day out, year in, year out.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, there's more than just developing connections with the players, whether it's through conversations after the game, jumping on the field and intermingling with our guys, or hanging out with our billet families and becoming one of our members of the community, to just being visible and having good relationships with our fans. Those things are important to us, and we hope that the community sees that what we're doing is all a good thing. And I mean, not only that, but we've also connected with the county of Newell. We've got some money that's been given to us for facility upgrades. So we really want to create that fan experience and give them the best experience to have them come back.
Sounds like a great idea, and hopefully it turns into a few more wins for you guys this year. Jason, thanks so much for the insight, and looking forward to what the Brooks Bombers have in store for this coming season.
Hey, thanks so much. You guys keep killing it. I love what you guys are doing. Keep spreading the baseball love in our league.
We want to thank both Jesse and Jason for joining us on the podcast this week, and to all of Alberta's WCBL teams for helping us arrange these interviews. We will have the final two previews featuring one of the province's best rivalries next week. That, of course, being the Okotoks Dogs and the Edmonton Prospects. We'll also have another episode ready on Thursday, just like normal, so all the more reason to subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Google Play. As always, a massive thank you, one and all, for all of your support on all of our platforms, and of course, thanks for listening.